Today's daf is daf Chav Ches. We're going to begin on the bottom of Chav Zayin Amud Beis. So the Gemara Ashkezan say that we found a mucker for Gil Shua by say that the Suda Mameda Minalan, the Suda, which is an Isser. Mameda Minalan, for where do we know that in regards to mumming also we do a Gil Shua? So the Gemara Tana debate Bishmo Kavachemer, and to Kavachemer Mas say that Shalin Tava Beidechem Megalan, if my Ash say that where an oath cannot be imposed by one witness. As we know, two witnesses must testify that the wife secluded herself with the man concerning whom she was warned in order for her to be obligated to take the shvuah. So, when it comes to money, where one oath can be imposed by the testimony of one witness, any dish of a galvan, does not make sense that they can extend an oath. So, the Mar Ashkecham Bavada, you found a mucker for the Gil Shvuah in regards to Avade, when the Tebeah is certain of the claim. The question is, Suffolk Manila, where do we know that there's Gil Shvuah by a Suffolk? It says Teda says in regards to an external oath, an oath administered outside of the Beis Hamikdash, and it says also a oath in regards to shul b'finim mashvu, what b'finim asu b'safik kibadi, just as in regards to an oath stated in the Torah that is taken inside the Beis Hamikdash. The Torah rendered a suffix certainty, as in the case of Seder where the husband claims is based on suspicion, and yet he can extend the oath. So too, with regards to an oath stated in the Torah that is taken outside of the Beis Hamikdash, also the Torah made a Safek Gavade. The Gemara asks, until where does the extension of the Gil Shua reach? You can make a shua, take an oath to me that you are not my shua. If the defendant is required to take an oath concerning denial of a chayv, he can be forced to take an oath about this matter as well. The Gemara asks, but the Beis Din makes ostracizes one who says this to another. The time you learn in a brayse, if a person calls another person a slave, he's ostracized. Mamzer, a person who calls Mamzer a slave, he gets malchus. So a person calls another person a rasha, then the insulted person may harass him in all aspects of his life. So it's clear that the Beis Din will not force the accused to respond to this insult by taking an oath. Rather, Rabbi says, take an oath from me that you were not sold to me as an Eved Ivri. So the Gemara asks, this is a proper claim that there's money owed to him by the accused. The Gemara answers, the Gemara asks, but there's nothing chiddush about this halacha, as this is a proper claim that there's money owed to him. The Eved Ivri himself is acquired by the master. You would say you would say his land that people are likely to sell privately. If it's so that the plaintiff has sold it to him, lest they call it, there's no kale. Therefore, the plaintiff's claim that the defendant sold land to him is reasonable. So then where it says in this case, where the plaintiff claims that he purchased the defendant as a Eved Ivri, if it is so that he purchased him as a slave, the slave would be a slave, and therefore there's no goal. The Mishnah is discussing a transaction involved the barter of two items. With regard to all items used as monetary value for another item, instead of a buyer paying money to the seller, they exchange items of value. It's called a barter. So once one party in the transaction acquires the item he's receiving, this party is obligated with regard to the item being exchanged for. Therefore, if it's fair loss, he makes a loss. One exchanges an ox for a cow or a donkey for an ox. Once one party acquires the animal that is receiving, he's obligated with regards to the item being exchanged. So the Gemara Chalipin Ma'inihu, what is the item given in exchange mentioned in the Mishnah? Matbeah is referring to a coin for which property is usually exchanged. Shamas Rinai, we can learn from here. Matbeah Nasa Chalipin. So we learn from here that the coin can affect Chalipin. Is it possible to perform an act of Chalipin, either a standard exchange or a symbolic exchange using coins? Here this is a shaila, as the halacha is that coins cannot be used for Chalipin. Or Vidach, this is what it means. Called Nishim Dome Bachir. What he means to say is that with regard to all items that can be appraised when used as monetary value for another item, in other words, that their value can be appraised relative to the value of another item, excluding a coin, whose value is apparent. Once one party the transaction acquires the item he's receiving, the party is obligated with regards to the item being exchanged. The economy, this is also precise. Whereas the Torah say, what does the Mishnah say? If one exchanges an ox for a cow or a donkey for an ox. So once the party acquires the animal, he's receiving, this party is obligated with regards to the item being exchanged. So the Gemara asks, with regard to what entered your mind initially that coins affect the symbolic exchange, what is the meaning of the clause? So in my case, said, how so? How if you come? Peiris nami over the chalipin. How can produce also make a chalipin? It said, if one exchanges meat of an ox from a cow or meat of a donkey of an ox, once the party acquires the item, it's obligated with regards to the item being exchanged for it. This works well because the says produce affects exchange. According to him who says produce does not affect exchange, what are you going to say? This is what it means to say. There is a transaction involving money that is like an exchange. How so? So the my time, we're worried that maybe your wheat was burned in the loft. After the scene, if fire breaks out or some other thing occurs after the seller receives the money, he will not bother to save the goods in his house because they no longer belong to him, as the buyer could incur a loss. Now, those are the shliach goes over one. Those are the shliach goes over one. I think one of the shliach number of shliach of finish potato. How do you see some of the shliach number pairs of the chalipin? According to the shliach says that shliach is mufresh potato. This works well. According to the shliach who says pairs of the chalipin, matas the shliach. I saw the grab nafel our pairs. The chalipin matfel the kanem ma'im mukalei akar chagul shliach really. That the Mishnah Shus Hagavei Bekesed, the authority of the temple treasurer affects acquisition by means of money to the seller. Shus had to be chazak on the authority, the mode of acquisition of a head is b'chazak on Rasa the Gavaya, famous thing. One's declaration of Gavaya, of Most High, when one consecrates an item through speech, it is equivalent to transferring an item to a common person. The item is acquired by the temple treasurer through his mere speech. How does the authority of the temple, by means of money, with regard to temple treasurer who gives for an animal, even if the animal is at the end of the world, is going to be until he makes their share. How does this work? Is like until he takes position and he pulls. If the headed guy pulled consecrated items for the purpose of acquiring it with 100 dinar and he did not manage to redeem it before it's 200, it says he will give the money and it will assure him. If he pulled what is 200, power of a commoner should not be greater than the headed. Messiah, he's much like some money. They say Messiah. I tell him that's because we call it double money. He's much like some Messiah. Much better, but when they say the money, Maya Hanami name. I want you to say you can't have the English. Or it says to Hadi La Mishapara. Is this to say that the Hadith is not forced to accept the Mishapara?